Hi guys, welcome once again to another insightful tutorial on Laperi College of Fashion YouTube sewing channel. Today's video shall be a quick one, DIYs which you can get done in few minutes. Someone actually asked how I made the waist bead and the ruffle fabric rose I attached to monostrap dress. So I'll go ahead to show us. For the tutorial, I'll need the following raw materials. I have my fabric, this is taffeta, you can use satin, then the thick paper interfacing popularly called gum stay, and here are our famous conventional spools gotten from spool of thread. Having used up our thread, we have all of this. I also have this hair accessory that I got some time ago for my daughter, but time will not allow me to make her hair, so I'll be making use of that as well. So the first thing we need to do will be to cut our fabric, and to do this I'll be cutting at an angle this way. I'll go ahead to put the fabric on fold diagonally so that it's not unbiased, and as such it will be stretching, pulling, which will make what you want to do to relax. So picking my spool as a guide depending on the size, I'll be placing on the folded fabric, then I'll go ahead to mark the width required. The length of the fabric now depends on what you are trying to achieve, where you are placing it, whether it's a waist bead you are making or a neck bead. So I'll go ahead now to cut. Having cut out again, I'll still use my spool to guide me whether to trim or not, so that we're able to achieve something firm, not loose. So having trimmed now, I'll be going ahead to just sew this end straight on like so, and the fact that it's unbiased will make it to pull, to stretch and relax. So having done my sewing, I've gone ahead to turn it inside out and press. So I'll be inserting my spool from this end. So I insert the first one like so, trying to push it in and also trying to centralize the fabric for evenness. So after that is done now, I pick my hair accessory, which actually has an opening on one end, so I try to spread it further. Then I'll be twisting my fabric this way. So I use the hair accessory to pin it down more like a stopper, actually a stopper. So the other hand, I also twist the fabric a little. Then I pick the hair accessory again, trying to open it up further at that end. Then using it to clip the fabric down as a stopper. So easy to do. So this is what we've been able to achieve. Isn't it beautiful? So I'll go ahead now to insert another one from this end, pushing it down and picking my hair accessory again as a stopper to hold it down after I've twisted the fabric. This is silver accessory I'm using now, just to add an element of designing. So it can be as creative as you desire. You can actually use two instead of a single one that I'm making use of. So I'll go ahead now to do the other side, on and on like that, and we are done. So afterwards, this is what we shall be having. Isn't it beautiful? These are waistband. So in the same way, I went further to put my fabric on fold diagonally. I cut out this, and I'll be making this as my neck bead. So I'll do the sewing from this end to this other end, because this is now a neck bead which needs to be sewn all round. So having sewn that part, this is what we'll have. So I'll go ahead now to join these other sides together and do the sewing this way. So it's from this end now, I insert my spool round like so, and afterwards, this is what we shall be having as my neck bead. Here is the waist bead, and sometimes ago I actually produced this using Ankara for a neck bead as well. So this is how to actually produce tops like this. So moving on, for the ruffle fabric rows, we're going ahead to cut our fabric 3 different sizes. So this is the first one. I actually cut this 18 by 18. Then you need 2 of the fabric cut out and just 1 layer of your thick paper interfacing. So for the second one, I'll be doing 15 inches by 15 inches, still 2 layers of the fabric and 1 layer of your thick interfacing. So the third one now, I'm doing 12 inches by 12 inches, 2 pieces of the fabric of the same size and 1 layer of the interfacing. The size actually might be wider or smaller, it depends on, you can do something wider or smaller than this. So the first one we need to do will be to create an opening at the middle. So I'll put it on fold like we always do for our circular flounce, our circular flare flounce. So this is the first one now, which was actually 18. So having put it on fold this way, we shall be having 9 inches this way, 9 inches the other way, and I'll be using that as a guide to cut out my full circle this way. And at the middle now, I'll be cutting 2 inches as my radius all the way like that. So afterwards I do my cutting, and in the same way I'll go ahead to do all other pieces this way, but I maintain the same radius of 2 inches. So this is what we'll be having. I've gone ahead to fuse my interfacing like so on each of the layers, and the other piece that I cut will be serving as a lining. So I use my sewing machine to just finish up the ends, do my sewing all around like so. So this is what I haven't sewn and pressed. So the next thing I'll need to do will be to use my hand needle and thread to control the circle that we actually created at the middle. So I'll simply pass the needle in out like so all around the circle that we created at the middle. So by the time I pull, this is what we'll be having, so that we can close up that opening at the middle. Then I'll spread and rearrange the fullness as desired. So this has to be placed over another piece, so there's going to be a base. So I'm making use of what I actually cut off at the middle, still putting my interfacing and another piece to actually finish it off. I'll go ahead now to place this layer on it, to be sewing all of the layers on top. So this is the second layer. I also do the same thing, pull my thread, I rearrange the fullness, then I'll place over this. In the same way, I'll get the third layer, the smallest layer now. Also use my hand needle to pull the thread and control the circle at the middle to close it up. Then I'll place over the other ones. They will carefully rearrange and do the sewing. So this is what I'll have afterwards. I can further twist to reduce or rearrange the fullness. So we are done, and here is the base neatly sewn. So to close up this end, I could just put a button, and also as element of designing like so. So easy to do. So here's the first one I did, the one I attached on the monostrap dress. It's just that this yellow one is smaller in size compared to the pink. Each of the layers is actually smaller to what we have here, and we are done. So depending on how you want it, you are good to go producing your ruffle fabric rows. So here I am with my neck bead and my waist bead and the ruffle fabric rows. So easy to make. Ooh la la. Thank you. Kindly subscribe and also hit the bell.
La Perry College of Fashion, raising professionals.